Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3, I guess we'll call it. Round 4.
It's 4.
Of the Boom Boom Room. I am your announcer, producer, and that guy, Viking Jim. You, former lightweight champion of the world, and the king of Youngstown, and our favorite son,
Oh, my man.
Raymond Boom Boom Mancini. What's up, Ray?
All right, Vike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right,
The
man.
reason why I say round 4 is because we're going over here, I'm getting some reverb over here.
Oh, we got reverb. Yeah,
Reverb.
tune that out of your head,
Okay.
bro.
It's because we did two shows last Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right.
Tuesday, I guess, was like what we call a
Right.
trial run.
Yeah.
But you can't, it's still round 1.
Right.
It's like a guy goes in and gets dropped on his ass in the first round. Still
Right.
round 1.
Right.
You know, comes back and
Stick and
everything.
move, stick and move.
So now this is round 4.
Yeah.
And our 4th day of doing this, the Boom Boom Room, the new edition.
And we're feeling our way.
Yes. So bear with me, and I hope you'll enjoy the show, folks. I hope you'll have some laughs along the way. Because look, we don't take ourselves serious, so we certainly don't want to take, we don't take things too serious. Certainly are not ourselves.
You have to
But,
have-
right. You gotta laugh at life.
You got to have a
Greatest
sense of
virtue is to
humor.
be able to laugh.
We're working out some of the kinks right
That's
now
right.
because
That's right.
unfortunately Ray and I are both very loud people,
Now,
and so we blew out a couple of
That's right.
microphones. I think we got a Sennheiser or something laying around
well,
here.
wait, first I got to intro. Hi, I'm Ray Mancini, and I want to introduce my corner man. The one you were just listening to was my spit backup man, Viking Jim, the best spit backup man. He when I'm over to spit, man, he gets out of the way just in time. My man. We gotta get that sound. We gotta get that sound effect. We gotta get that sound effect.
It is, in fact, an honor, sir, to carry buckets of your foul-smelling drool.
Now you really sound like Ed McMahon. Jesus. And of course, my corner, my new cut man, Joe Danier.
Joe Danier.
Joe Danier, man, the French. Joe, you ain't French, are you? All right, we got the Danier.
I bet he can speak French, though.
Danier, s'il vous plaît. All right, but Joe Danier, my ace cut man, taking over from my other ace cut man, Cornell, Bang Bang Bogdan, who's no longer able to work with us at the moment because he's working with other fighters, as they say.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe we can get him down here
we got a
someday.
lot to talk about today, folks. A lot of stuff.
Line it up, Ray. What do you got?
A lot of boxing stuff, and at coming on in a half hour, 4:30 our time, 1:30 West Coast time, we're gonna get, to me, one of the best boxing writers going today, Steve K9 Kim.
He's a great guest.
He's terrific. He's a great boxing writer and a great boxing mind, and he'll keep us updated on everything that's going on with the boxing world. He's the first and foremost guy.
Very educational stuff, man, especially for me.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But let's talk about a few things happening. One of them is that I'm moving around here because I'm trying to find. Okay.
We're working it, baby.
Here's
We're
the
working
right.
it.
That, ladies and gentlemen, you understand. For the last 3 shows, the camera's here now. It's here, and my men are here. So you usually give it a view of this, what you get, and now you get all of it. This is all of it.
You're doing bag work, Ray. You're doing bag work, baby.
Hey.
That's all. Doing bag work.
So we got a lot of boxing news, but before we get to boxing, look, let's get rid of the obvious. NFL draft tonight, gentlemen. NFL draft coming on, and I don't get excited about the NFL draft. I don't get excited about. To me, the 3 things on sports that are most overrated bullcrap you could have: NFL draft, NBA draft, and the weigh-in for a fight. Guys dropping trout. Hey, he dropped it! I mean, he's got to drop his drawers.
Hooray!
And it's, Jesus, man. So anyhow, my man. Joe, these need my headphones, man. I'm bobbing and weaving and falling on me. All right, but anyway, so today was that. But I am excited because the Brownies, hey, we're from Youngstown. Brownies are Cleveland. Even if you're not my team, they are my team because they're from the area. Youngstown's split. I tell people, if you don't know, Youngstown is literally split down the middle. We're 60 miles southeast of Cleveland, 60 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. So we're literally halfway point.
It's no man's land.
And so everyone is, at the town split. Half are Brownies fans or half are Steelers fans. I'm neither. I never was. Growing up, I was an Oakland Raider fan. Why? I don't know. So, but now, look.
John Matuzak, I guess.
Well, you want the Brownies to do well. I mean, 0-16.
You
Look,
gotta
they're better
feel
than
for 'em.
that. They're better than 0-16. And I'm gonna tell you, everyone was complaining about Hugh Jackson getting another year. I gotta tell you, Hugh Jackson could coach. He coached for years in Cincinnati. Did pretty well there.
Absolutely.
Well, all of a sudden, he forgot how to coach. Come on. I don't know if he had the personnel, the talent, whatever. Something's not. But I like you, Jackson. I think you can coach. And we got to. And this got to be the year. You know, after this year, you don't get no more chances. This is it. So you got the number one choice, number 4. Everyone's thinking they're going to go for a quarterback. I do not think they should go for a quarterback. I think they should go for Saquon Barkley, the best player in the draft. I think you go for the best talent. He's a player that could change the game.
Yeah.
He's a multi-dimensional back. Catch passes out of the
He's got good hands.
out of the backfield. Run, north and south. He can run vertical if he has to, but he takes it outside, takes it up the field. Speed, 4.3 40. I mean, come on, he's the real deal.
It sounds like a good play. Do you think that a running back, having a game-changing running back like that, a running back like that can carry an average quarterback?
Of course, you just said it. Well, look at Brownies a couple of years. Not the Brownies, the Cowboys. First year of Prescott.
Right.
Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had a pretty good year, but without Ezekiel Elliott, he had a lot of pressure on him. And they had Des Bryant on the outside.
Right.
Well, the Brownies got some nice wideouts, and they're gonna have, and they got now. If you get Barkley in the backfield, it takes a hell of a lot of pressure off whoever they pick. They got 2. They just traded for Tyrod Taylor,
Yeah.
who played in Buffalo, so he's gonna probably be the starter.
I like Tyrod.
He is a good player. He can play.
He's got guts.
He can ball. And you got Drew. I think Drew Henson is the backup. I think Drew
I
Henson
believe
comes from
that's it, yeah.
Arizona. Drew Henson. Is that his last name?
I
Henson?
think so.
Or Hanson. He came in over, so he's going to be a good backup. So look, there's no quarterback that stands out. None of them.
Right.
So they're all good players. Don't get me wrong. Good quarterbacks, solid quarterbacks. Nothing that
But you
stands
can go
out.
deeper in the draft for a quarterback.
Of course,
Still get it decent.
just my point, Zach. Good point, Vike. That's just it. You go later. The guy from Missouri
Yeah.
State, he's a solid guy. I don't. Nobody stands out. I think you go with Barkley. Number 2, the Giants will probably pick Arnold or Rosen. 3, I think Arnold or Allen, Josh Allen. 3 looks like Rosen's going to go to the Jets. Looks like on occasion. So number 4 pick, you got to go on the other side of the line. You got to go with the Chubb, the defensive end, not Nick Chubb. Is it Nick the defensive end? Because the one from Georgia is the running backs in it. There's 2 Chubbs. Who would have thought you got 2 Chubbs? With a name like Chubb, you got 2. Not one, we got 2. So the Chubb, the defensive end, what is it, from Northwestern or where's he from? We'll figure it out.
Browns got it, Chubb.
So anyhow, you got to get somebody with Myles Garrett on one side. You got Chubb on the other side. Now you got some bookends. Now you got a nice defense, and you got the offensive side. You got a star in Barkley. The other side, you got the nice defense. Because I believe the Brownies. I'm picking them to win 7 games this year.
Yeah.
A minimum of 7 games. Minimum.
I'm going to call it 9. I mean, they
Why
got.
not? I don't want to get over the ambitious. I don't want to get over the ambitious. Zero, but I think they can go better.
I'm an optimist, Ray.
Yeah,
I'm an
you
optimist.
guys. Well, I appreciate that. So anyhow, I'm looking forward to the draft tonight. I think it's going to be exciting. And after the first 20, then you just turn it off and go to the other one. Also, on Nothing News, this is my Nothing News broadcast. The Ball brothers, the jerk-offs from
And
LA.
now, the Nothing News.
Nothing News. The jerk-off brothers from there. They're all, man, I don't understand, man. You take your kid out of high school, you take your kid out, the real jerk-off. And neither of those sons are going to go to the NBA. Neither one of them will be got a shot. They got to go to. They got to go to the development league. Well, they got sick. One's hurt. One's sick. They got homesick. Miss mommy. Miss our American food. Trust me, I know the deal.
Yeah.
So they're back. So does anybody give a shit? No. All right. So anyway,
What are
I
those
just
poor
thought.
kids eating in Lithuania, though?
They're
missing mom's cooking.
These kids ain't even. I don't know, man. The Big Baller brand, Big Ball. I don't know. You got Big Balls. Big Balls brand is what you should call it because you got big balls to take kids out of school. And how about this? Your kid gets jammed up. He gets jammed up in a foreign country for stealing. No. And you say that we should. We're making such a big thing about it. Why don't you give a kid an ass whipping? Whip his ass. Let him know. No, man.
You know
disregard.
what?
You
Testify.
You whip his ass. You say, look, man. I taught you as a kid. You don't take things that are yours. You don't steal from anybody for anything.
I bet you better
And
do your
then
time.
you don't. You do not do any disrespect or to harm this name. You got the name. You're my son. When you go out there, I tell my kids all the time. You can leave this house. You represent me and his family. You don't represent yourself. You represent the Mancini name. Do not do anything to screw that up. My father didn't. I hope I didn't. Don't you go up there to do anything to disrespect and bring disgrace to this name. These kids, it was disgraceful. Eyeglasses? Are you shitting me? Just buy the freaking things. So,
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
father gives those, instead of saying my kid needs an ass whipping, you know what? They were going to punish him for a few games. Instead of saying, you know what? He deserves it. Show what a real man, you take a punishment like you're supposed to be taught the right way. Instead, he takes him out of school and he takes him to Lithuania, and the kids are going to be a bust out anyway. You listen to him.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a bust out. You can't, because he ain't got the character it takes to make it. When you do stuff like that, still in eyeglasses, you ain't got the character it takes. Let me tell you something. Character will always beat talent in this life. Always. And I tell my kids that, and I'm telling everybody, I'm telling the public. Character will always beat talent. Give me 9 guys, 10 guys, 11 guys with character, I'll take them over talent anytime. So anyhow, I just thought I'd throw it in there because I could give a crap less about these guys, but I threw it in.
It's silly, man. It's silly.
Now, we got boxing news. Now, again, we got Steve Kim coming up, so I want to get to some boxing news before he comes on, then we'll throw it by him.
Bring it, baby.
Top Rank, Bobby Arum's company got a show coming from Philly with the legendary promoter Russell Peltz. Russell Peltz has been the promoter for Philly forever. Very good friend of mine. Legendary promoter, one of the best promoters ever. So this weekend, I think it's Thursday night, actually. I think it's Thursday night. Tonight? Was it tonight or tomorrow night? Come on, just check it out.
It's tomorrow night,
Top
I think.
Rank. I think top.
Top
okay.
Rank? Let me check.
Top
Okay,
Rank.
go
Check
ahead.
it out. And but we're talking about Philly fighters. Of all the great Philly fighters, all the great fighters that come from Philly. In the '70s, it was the heyday of the Philly middleweight. All the great middleweights out of Philly in the '70s. But not only were they were terrific fighters, they had the best nicknames. You had Bad Benny Briscoe.
That's good.
You had Willie the Worm Monroe. You had Bobby Boogaloo Watts.
I like that.
Eugene Cyclone Hart. Those are the 4. And you know, coming there, because he couldn't get fights in his own town, so he went to their backyard, was Marvin Hagler. He wasn't Marvelous yet, but the Marvelous one went there, fought them all.
I love
And
Hagler,
and
man.
the only one he beat Bad Benny, he beat Willie the Worm, and I think it was Bobby Boogaloo Watts. He had a draw the first time. They made a rematch, and Marvin beat him. So I don't think he fought Cyclone Hart. Or it was Willie the Worm. Willie the Worm Monroe. He had a draw with. They came back and beat him. But he was either Boogaloo Watts or Willie the Worm. He had a draw, came back and beat him in a rematch. That's how great Marvin was. Because Marvin was going to their backyards whooping their ass. So
I used to love watching him, man.
Of all the great Philly fighters, they talk about the great Tommy Loughran. Now, Tommy Loughran fought back in the 20s, in the 30s. He's the greatest Philly fighter of all time. See, I have a hard time with that. Great fighter. It was a great time for his time. All you can go is be a fighter of your time. But for me, the greatest Philly fighter of all time is the Smoke. Smoke and Joe Frazier. How can you? He's the heavyweight champion of the world. How can you be?
I didn't
better
realize
than
he
that?
was a Philly fighter.
Yeah,
Cool.
oh yeah, Smoke and Joe. The Smoke was the best, and I love Smoke. I got to be good friends with him. God bless him. God rest his soul. He was a great man. And Smoke used to say to me, we'd be at events. I love Joey. Smoke would be at events, and we'd do events. Muhammad would be there, and he'd say, and Muhammad was going through his problems. We had the Parkinson's and stuff. And I don't see this. Joe is the best, but he'd say, "Hey, boom, look at the butterfly. He ain't floating no more, is he? He ain't floating no more." He said, "I like to think I had something to do with that." I say, "Smoke, you gotta let it go, brother.
Let it go, buddy.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
right, brother. You're right. Yeah. But you can't think you're God. He thinks he's God. He ain't God. God's punishing his ass. God's punishing his ass." I said, "Smoke, you're right, boom. You're right." I love Smoke.
Joe had to let it go, and I'm glad he had a friend who could let it go.
Actually, he actually forgave all that because people
Yeah.
don't understand. Joe, here, let me give you the story. When Ollie was getting going through his thing, kind of trying to get reinstated in boxing in 1968, or when he made the comeback, 1970, Joe went down there and pleaded. This is a true story. Pleaded with our government to get him off. It was pleaded with the local government, the state government, to get him out of prison, the judicial system to get him out. But he actually had a meeting with President Nixon
Oh, no kidding.
in the White House. True story. Smoke went, and him and the President Nixon were walking in the Rose Garden. I said, "Joe, what would you like me to do?" He said, "Mr. President," I said, "I would like you to let Muhammad Ali out of jail so I could fight him." He said, "Mr. President," he said, "I can't say I'm the best when this guy still says he's the best." He said, "We got to prove it. You got to let me fight him to prove I'm the best." And he said the president walked through him a little bit, thought about it. He said, "Joe, you think you're going to beat this boy?" He said, "Joe, you think you're going to beat him?" He said, "Mr. President, I'm going to whip his ass." True story. I'm going to whip his ass. I love that.
That's
And,
great.
and Nixon pardoned all eight and got him out of jail. And Joe, they did the first fight, March 8th of 1971, which I tell people was not the greatest sporting event of all time, which it was. It's
Okay.
one of the greatest cultural events of all time.
Sure.
Up there with Woodstock, up there with the Monterey Film
Monterey Pop Festival.
Pop Festival.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cultural events. Everybody and anybody was there in Madison Square Garden. They forget that Burt Lancaster did the commentary.
Oh, really?
Burt Lancaster did the commentary. Frank Sinatra was taking photographs for Life magazine. That's what he was doing. So,
Wow. That's huge.
that's how big that was. That was the greatest. And it went all 15 rounds. And Joe dropped him in the 15th round and won a unanimous decision. One of the greatest fights of all time. And they both came out banged up. It's just a great, great fight.
It was
but the
pretty-
greatest sporting event of all time.
No
So
question.
that to me is the greatest fighter from Philly. But they had a lot of great ones. And of course, through the years, during my time when I was fighting, they had Jeff Chandler, great bantamweight champion, defended the title. He had the title for about 4 years, defended it like 15, 16 times.
Okay.
And of course, Bernard B. Hop Hopkins. And B. Hop, I got to be, I tell you something, but B. Hop, he was after me a little bit, but he's not much younger than me. But he got jammed up and he did some time for a little bit. And I forget when we got to jail when I first met him. He said, boom, boom, man, we loved you in the joint. We loved you in the joint. Man, everybody in the joint loved you. Appreciate that, B-Hop. Appreciate that, baby.
Well, at least
Beats alternative. He's alternative.
Hey, at least you know you'll be good to go if they ever lock you.
But he was great. But he was great, man.
That's good.
So also a little tidbit. We talked about this briefly the other day.
Okay.
I was talking about. First of all, I'm trying to slow down, folks, because I watched myself on the other show the other day, and I was talking way too fast. I know I get hyped. I get excited.
You're a
I
rapid
talk
fire.
fast anyway, but I hope I'm slowing down enough for you.
You're a rap. Be yourself, right?
And finishing my sentences.
Ah, there you go.
That's
Good
the
one. I'm
most-
sorry.
I want my diction. I want to speak the King's English.
Oh yeah. How
And,
long is that gonna last? I'm
people-
gonna sit over here with a
And
stopwatch.
you guys from Brooklyn always say, hey, yo, where you from the neighborhood? I said, what? Yo. I said, no, yo, I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, man. Oh, man, we thought you were from the neighborhood. I said, yo, I speak these, those, and them, but compared to you guys that speak the King's English, which is a scary thought. Jesus, man. But anyhow, but President Trump, we talked about this, is considering a pardon for Jack Johnson. I think I told you this last week.
Yeah, it didn't
but
have something to
I
do
got
with yeah.
invited-
Stallone had something to do with it. Yeah.
No, not Stallone. I got invited to the White House.
Okay.
Because they're talking about pardoning Jack Johnson and to bringing certain fighters to the White House, which I was invited. And so my son right away, Bob, I said, no, it's not a political thing. It's Jack Johnson. Fighters, they want fighters to come there. And so I'm going, so if I get invited, I'm going to go. I was invited, but if it happens, I'm going to go to the White House and be part of the the contingency there to see that Jack Johnson gets pardoned. Now people say, what did he get arrested for? Jack Johnson was one of the greatest heavyweights of all time in the early 1900s.
Yep.
And he got arrested for transporting white women across state lines.
How dare he?
Jack Johnson was bigger than life, and he had all these white women, loved him. It was a heavyweight champ. And it brought him across the state lines, like bring from Youngstown over to Newcastle.
And they were kind of out to get Jack too.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course, yeah.
they were out to
So
get
that's all I
Jack because
got,
he was kind of like, hey, screw you, you ain't gonna tell me what to do or
nobody
where
wants
to
to
go.
see, black guys slinging it on those white women. And, it's always...
In that time, no, they
No,
didn't.
no, of
And
course.
God bless Jack for giving him the big middle finger, as far as I'm concerned.
Now, earlier, you said something to me, and I'm not going to get caught up. I'm not going to go into this too much.
Right.
You asked me about the Bill Cosby thing. We found out Bill Cosby got convicted guilty on all three accounts.
Yes, it's kind of
I-
weird.
look, I don't want to get into that. First of all I'm saying is this. You're Bill Cosby. Success is the greatest aphrodisiac. You ain't got to do anything but say, I'm Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. My man had been a freak in him. He's butting drinks. Here's the
That's
thing.
creepy, dude.
But let me tell you. Success is the greatest aphrodisiac. No bigger star in the late 80s, early 90s, 80s, period.
Yeah.
TV to Bill Cosby.
America's
He was
dad.
America's dad, right? And who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Mr. Huxtable's my daddy. So anyhow, so that's the thing. But, and he admitted, he's giving them, what he's saying, he's giving them Benadryl, he's giving them sleeping pills. Bill, man, come on, man. Stop. Whatever it was you were giving him, stop. You gave him something. I'm sad to see he's 80 years old. What's he going to do? Put him in jail? He's going to die in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna fight it, they're gonna keep him out, but that's heartbreaking. That America's dad
Well, and
now is a freak.
yeah, it freaks me out too because I remember, and I was talking to my wife about this. If I can hijack the show for a minute, that when I was coming up, like when I was a little kid in the late '60s, early '70s, I learned to laugh from listening to those old Bill Cosby records.
Oh yeah.
And
He
my
never was
sense
blue.
of humor was partially formed by
Oh yeah,
that
man.
cat.
Oh, he was in blue. He was stuck to comedy.
Yeah.
He didn't
It was
curse, didn't do
family
anything.
friendly
No
and
profanity or
Not
nothing.
like your homeboy.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the thing. So anyhow, I just wanted to say about Bill Cosby. I'm not, that's heartbreaking for me as an entertainer.
too.
It's heartbreaking to see Bill Cosby get jammed up like that way. And here's my Bill Cosby story. I met him in Vegas years ago, but during one of my fights, we're in the corner, and I said to Chuck Fagan, one of my corner man, I said, Chuck, was it me or was I hallucinating? Did I see Bill Cosby in the corner? He said, oh yeah, man, oh yeah. During the middle of one of my fights, I have a very rough fight, and I'm, spit bucket, doing the spit bucket, and I looked up and you think you're hallucinating. Bill Cosby.
Hey.
And I said, Chuck, Chuck said, no, man, he come over during the middle of the fight, and said to Chuck, you come in the corner, he said, will you tell that in the Bill, that Bill Cosby voice that will you tell that boy to move his head? And Chuck said, yeah, Bill, I love you, but get the fuck out of my corner. Get out of here. I mean, we're in the corner. Get out of my corner. So yeah, but he was. That happened in one of my fights. So I was like I was hallucinating. So anyhow, before we get to Steve Kim, my man, the K9, there's a couple boxing things going on now.
Oh yeah, Bull. By the way, I looked that up real quick. That fight is the 28th, so that is Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. Thank you very much. So Saturday on ESPN.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, Anthony Joshua, and we got losing my mind for Wilder. What's it with Wilder? Jesus, man, the heavyweight champ from.
I can't keep track of the heavyweights anymore, man.
I'm a boxing guy. Don't.
I can't keep track of the heavyweights. How many classes are there now?
So Deontay Wilder.
There you go. Thank
Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder offered Anthony Joshua $50 million for unification fee. Come over here, so you don't go to the UK. $50 million. So you give me, first off, if you offer you $5 million, if you think you're a true champion,
Right.
Deontay Wilder. I said Dante. I'm sorry, Deontay Wilder. Yeah, and I'm a real boxing guy. Who would have thunk it, right? Deontay Wilder offered. He said the offer's coming from the promoter, Al Heyman Productions, to offer Anthony Joshua to come to America to unify the world title, and they're going to offer him $50 million. Now, if you think you're the champion, a true heavyweight champion, you come no matter. And we said about last week about Wilder going to the UK because Joshua sells out 70,000 seat soccer stadiums.
Yeah.
So you got to go. But if they're offering you 50 mil, where do you want me to go? I'll go in your backyard. Really, that's it. So that's on the news. We're going to talk to K9.
I got something breaking on that too, Ray. Just posted 30 minutes ago on BoxingNews24.com. They're looking at that Hay believes that Joshua will sign the Wilder fight if the offer is real.
Well, there you go. Eddie Hearn says that? Eddie Hearn or Al Heyman?
According to this, it was from, now I'm trying to have it read down. Thank God I got my both bifocals now. Wait a minute, I'm trying to find.
That's all right. Where would you find it?
No, I'll find it. You go on.
So,
I'm
but
sorry.
he's going to come here.
Hey, Ray, real quick, couple shout outs. Mark Anthony says, hey, he's
Mark,
out there
I
watching.
appreciate that. Jersey. He's in Jersey listening. My man.
And Vincent Archangelo.
Vince. All right. My brother Vince.
Hey,
Went to
Vince.
school. Vince, I got your text. You want to come on the show? I have no problem. What are we going to talk about? I said, you want to talk about Youngstown yesterday, Youngstown today? Vince, come on, bro. What are we going to talk about? Give me specifics.
All right, and Anna Katuschak.
Oh, yeah. My friend,
Katuschak
yeah,
says you're sounding good.
Thank you, Anna. My friend Anna from Columbus. Oh, no, she's back in Cleveland now. Up in the Cleveland area. Back in Cleveland. Anna, thank you for listening to Cleveland. Yes, she came to when I got my slot machine at the Northfield Roxino. My friend Anna was there. So thank you, Anna. I hope you enjoyed it because we're all over the joint here. Very discombobulated. And anyhow, but let me give you a little more boxing news. Again, Triple G says that about a Canelo fight. So we'll see about a fight with Canelo in September. We're not so sure.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't believe Canelo deserves it. He thinks he cheated, and he's going to move on. He said the failed, and Canelo failed 2 drug tests, not 1 but 2, and it was for clenbuterol. You familiar?
Yeah, is this
Clenbuterol. I don't know what that. Do you know?
some kind of HGH, I would imagine?
Yeah, I
probably.
suppose they say it helps performance. It's a performance enhancer.
Yeah.
So clenbuterol.
More Mexican meat.
Yeah, they say BFX me. Come on. But and it did. No, there's been cases of it from the Mexican meat. We got
Yeah,
that.
we talked
got
about that, yeah.
But anyhow, I'm not so sure this was the case. He got a 6-month suspension, so he could come back September and fight Triple G during Independence Day. He didn't fight him for Cinco de Mayo, but he come for Independence Day. They fought last September 16th. It's Independence Day. I think this time is the weekend before, the 11th, 12th, 10, 11, or it's
Check my calendar.
the 17th, something like that.
Okay.
But he says he no longer thinks about Canelo, but obviously he does because that's the biggest fight for him.
Keeps bringing it up, too.
That's right. That's right. Also in boxing, Keith Thurman, the welterweight champ, is vacating the WBC belt, but he's going to keep the WBA belt.
So we're splitting a belt again.
Splitting belts, right?
I hate that.
But he still holds the WBA. Now, so they ordered 2 guys that Keith Thurman already beat. Sean Porter, who's from Akron area, Kenton area,
Okay.
Akron area, and star athlete, and Danny Garcia to fight for the vacated belt. I think that's an ugly fight if it ever happens. They already fought once, and no, I'm sorry, they didn't fight. Keith Thurman fought Danny Garcia, and he fought Sean Porter. That's my. I think if Porter and Garcia fight, it's an ugly fight. It's it's
Not gonna be any-
No, I mean it'll be action, but it's a clutch and grab and hold. It'll be an ugly fight.
Yeah, they might as well
I'm
be.
not looking too forward to that.
They must be just ballroom dancing or
Yeah.
something.
Also, we're talking about this weekend, and then we're going to talk about this with Steve Kim. We're going to talk about these fights with Steve Kim. He's going to give us the new update on what's going on the West Coast. What's going on with Top Rank? Top Rank's got they signed some new young guys. They expect a lot of heat from, a lot of expectations. But does anybody know what clenbuterol does? What does it do?
And blue. I'm gonna look that up right
It's
now.
CLENBUTERAL, clenbuterol. I just wonder what's the effects of it. What does it do for you?
We're gonna find out in about 2 shakes.
We're gonna get to our man K9. Can we call him?
I already
Clenbuterol.
talked to him. He's on his way.
He's on his way.
He's gonna. Yeah. He's
Is it-
he's at home just yet.
Okay, he's gonna call us.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So
here-
we'll wait for our friend Steve to call us.
Here you go, Ray.
Yeah.
Clenbuterol, marketed as dilateral, spiropent, or ventipulum, is a sympathomimetic amine used by sufferers of breathing disorder. It's a bronchodilator, like an asthma.
Is that what you got out of that?
Yeah.
Because I got out of that. My man, I don't know.
No, it
I
looks
don't
like
know what
asthma.
that-
It looks like asthma medicine, man.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, it probably has to do with like increasing the breathing or something.
Yeah.
So
But that's an enhancer. If it's increasing your endurance, increasing your breathing, which increases your endurance, it's an enhancer. Either way, look.
weight loss drug.
Well,
Ah.
let me tell you something. What did Eddie O'Neill say last week?
Yeah, about the
when
weight.
that fight. When he fought the first fight, he says that Canelo did not look like a typical Mexican. He didn't mean he was shredded. Most typicals aren't shredded.
Okay.
And that's what he said. He was shredded. He ain't never shredded for any fight. He got abs, you see, but he ain't shredded like it was like his skin was. So that makes sense. That makes sense there.
Yeah.
So if it's a,
There you go.
There you go.
Weight loss enhancer.
Do we have
Yeah.
anything? Oh, let me talk about it. Let me also. There was a gentleman last week who texted or emailed, whatever, when we were giving our top 5 list, which was, we talked about top 5 lists. Our top 5 list was, we had actually 2 top 5 lists. One was the top R&B singers of all time, in my
Right.
opinion, and top 5 R&B bands. I forgot, what about Frank Sinatra? What about Frank Sinatra? Why don't you show partiality to everybody else but Frank Sinatra?
It's R&B, baby.
I said, brother, well, what part of R&B ain't you getting? Rhythm and blues. If I said crooners, then we'd get old Blue Eyes on there. We'd be the top 5 all-time crooners.
Yeah,
we said
Tony Bennett.
R&B. So I hope people, when I do my top 5 list, which most people don't agree with, my son called me yelling at me the other day, but top 5 action stars, well, You know, I said, I put Tom Hardy number 5. He ain't even an action star, Pop. He's a real actor. I said, they're all real actors. I mean, some of them just do action.
Yeah, that reminds me. That Tom Hardy show was called Taboo.
Taboo,
Watch
right.
out
Yes,
for
yes,
it. Good
yes,
stuff,
yes.
brother. Good stuff.
So anyhow, that's all I'm saying. So but that's what it was, sir. Whoever R&B singers. Now you know what? If we don't get this, Steve, I'm gonna give my top 5 lists. Now, I would like to have Steve on when I give the top 5. Hold off. You know, I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah,
Because
he said a couple minutes.
no, it's okay. Well, you know, he's Korean, so Korean time. No. Okay, that's my brother. Kimlicious. Steve Kimlicious. He's great. You know, Korean. It's like the Hispanics, like the Cubans. Cubans got Cuban time. You know, the brothers got brother time. You know what I mean? It's you know, come on, man. It's we all know the difference between real time and the Cuban time, real time and brother time. It's a whole different thing.
I got stoner time.
And everybody, my man, see that?
All right, I'm bringing him on. You ready?
Oh, here we go, my man, the K9. Go ahead.
All right.
Steve, we there?
Oh my God! It's always been a dream of mine to go to a boom boom room, and now my dream is fulfilled. This is
You
great.
are in the boom boom room. Hey, hold on, brother. Hold on. Enjoy the ride because it gets a little bumpy now and then. But hey, it's all about the journey, baby. All about the journey. Steve,
Oh, I can't wait. So guys, what's going on?
well, Steve, I appreciate your time. I've been going on, giving a little bit of rundown about the boxing business. We're all over the joint. We do a little entertainment, a little music. We do boxing. It's supposed to be a boxing show, but we're all over the joint. But one of the things I was talking about is they talked about they stripped Keith Thurman of his WBC belt, and we do know that belt's supposed to mean something, but they stripped the WBC, but not the WBA. I don't know what the difference is. He didn't defend the WBC. Did he defend the WBA lately? I don't know if that either. I don't know why.
No, he hasn't. And the reason why he was able to dump one of the belts is because, as you mentioned, he has 2 of them. So the other one is more or less an insurance policy. But you make a great point. He should be stripped of both belts. He has not fought since March of 2017. Now, theoretically, and again, they kind of go by their own set of rules.
Right.
Every champion has to defend at least once a year. Then there are mandatories that are due. Now, my understanding is from the BC is that the 2 highest rated contenders, Sean Porter, hard-nosed, tough fighter out of Toledo, will face Danny Garcia. They're the 2 highest rated contenders in that particular organization. Now, I don't know if I'm one of the WBA contenders. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. I would be getting my lawyer or manager to call Gilberto Mendoza Jr. and to be getting a clarification on when I could fight for the title. Now, about the BA guys, Lucas Matisse has the regular version of the WBA, but I just don't like it, Ray, when fighters nowadays, they don't fight enough to begin with, but they should not be holding up multiple belts for years at a time.
No, and Steve, you made a good point. First of all, I don't mean to correct you, but in this case, Sean Porter's actually from Akron. He's from Akron. He went to school.
Akron, yes.
Very good athlete, Second of all, Steve, and I talked about the Porter Garcia because Keith Thurman beat both of these guys, so they put them together to fight for the title, vacated title. Personally, I think it's going to be an ugly fight. Personally. Because Sean Porter is a great athlete as he is. It's always an ugly fight when he mauls you. He's a good fighter, but he makes it an ugly fight. Danny Garcia seems to get overwhelmed with guys who are unorthodox, who maul them, pressure him. So I think it's going to be an ugly fight, personally. But also, now you talked about Lucas Batiste. Now here's what I don't get. You said it. The what does the mean? He's got the real WBA belt or the.
Well. Okay, what happens is the WBA, in a way to make more money, when a guy is a longtime champion or is a unified champion, they make him into what they call a quote-unquote super champion, which is a designation, by the way, that Gennady Golovkin also has. So it's a way of freeing the guys to make other fights and letting the number 1 mandatory or the other challengers fight for a regular belt.
That's it.
And they become a regular champion, but in essence what they become Ray, by rule, is then eventually the mandatory for the super champion.
And what you're
So
saying,
it's a little bit confusing.
Yes.
But again, we're seeing this with Golovkin. When you have multiple belts, it's hard to get to all the mandatory defenses.
Absolutely. But Steve, what you're basically saying is, we're going to charge you, we're going to bang you for that 10K or whatever the sanctioning fee is, 6K, 10K, and we'll give you a belt. But you're going to be the regular champion, but he's a super champion, but what's basically saying you're the irregular champion. What does that mean? Regular, irregular?
Right, well,
You know what
that means,
regulate
right?
properly?
Right. What that really means is we got bills to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Bottom line.
Oh, Steve,
You know?
it's a joke. I mean, this is what I'm saying. And I love Gilbert Tico is my guy. But brother, I told David, I've gone to the WBA convention. I didn't make it this year. I wanted to. I wanted to go to Medellin. Was it Medellin? I wanted to go. Because I wanted to take the Pablo Escobar tour, and I didn't get to go this year. But I went to 2 years before that, 2 times before that, and I want to go to the next one because I've talked to Gilbert Tico, and he's my guy. But I've told him, you can't. These belts, I understand. Lineal champion, regular champion, irregular champion. I mean, now you got the super champion. Come on, man. I don't know. One champion. Just make it one. So
No, I agree. But, Ray, I agree with you. But I will say this. In an era when a lot of your fighters at the top level, the 12-round championship level fighters, only fight twice a year, this is what has spawned off this type of activity. That, Ray, when you were a champion, you guys were much more active in the mid to late, let's say, late 70s, early 80s.
you had to be.
Now that guys only fight twice a year, I actually think you need multiple belts. The question is, do you need multiple belts within the same sanctioning body? Now, I like Gilberto Mendoza Jr. He's a very nice guy. We get along well.
He's terrific.
But
One of my favorite people.
he made a promise 2-3 years ago that he was going to start lessening the number of champions. And you know what? He hasn't done it. That's the bottom line.
Well, Gilbert Tico and his right-hand guy, Julio Time, I love them guys. They're great people. And they're good. They're good for boxing. They're good, WBA. They're good leaders. But you got to take a stand. I get it, but you got to take a stand. Look, Steve, you made a point. When I was fighting, one thing I'm proud of, and I always say, there's one thing I'm proudest of my career is I was a champion from May 8th of 82, June 1st of 84. In 24 months, I had 7 fights. That's one every 3 months. I had 5 title defenses and 2 non-title fights. But in actuality, it's 7 title defenses. Because even though there's as a non-title fight, your title's not at stake, but your marketability and credibility is. So it's a title fight. It's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the things I don't like about today's business is that your best fighters are now reduced to being part-time workers. In every other sport, they're trying to give you more of your best teams. They're trying to give you more content. They're trying to create more opportunities for you to be exposed to the public.
That's right.
Look at the NFL.
That's right.
In boxing, look, there's no one that said, and we know we are big fans of this guy, Gennady Golovkin.
That's right.
And I've told this to Tom Loeffler. I miss the days of seeing Golovkin 3-4 times a year.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it, Ray. None of us in the last year or so said, "Hey, Ray, I'd like to see more boxing, less Golovkin."
Right.
Like, give me a break.
No,
I mean, that's like asking for less ice cream at dessert. It doesn't make sense, but it is the unfortunate reality of today's marketplace in boxing.
Well, Steve, you made a good point. What I loved about Golovkin more than anything, I tell people, what I loved about Tom Loeffler and what Tom Loeffler was doing, it was more than anything, was Tom and Ronnie DiNicola, because he's the silent partner there. Ronnie and Tom were taking Golovkin and saying, look, we're moving, this train's moving. Either in or in the way. Jump on or jump off, but we're moving. And you want to fight? Fine. If you don't, we'll go to the next guy. But we're fighting 4 times a year. And we're picking these times, and this is when we're fighting. And that was what everyone loved about it, because he was moving forward, and he was fighting no matter what. So with this fight, that's what I love about this fight. The Triple G fight, Canelo fell out. Okay, well, we're still fighting. And they moved the venue to StubHub in California. They took Vanas Mirage. I don't know his name. Mirajan. You know, look.
Vanas Martirosyan.
Martirosyan. And I like that. And I met Martirosyan. He's a sweet guy, good fighter. Look, we all know it's not Canelo. We all know it's a guy he should beat. We all get that. But what I love about it is Martirosyan stepped up. He was training for a fight. He's been off for a little bit, but he stepped up. You know, and Martirosyan's looked for an opportunity. Now, Martirosyan's from Glendale. He's an Armenian from Glendale, and that's where the largest Armenian community is. So it makes sense because he'll get a large crowd to the StubHub. It makes sense to do it at the StubHub with Martirosyan. But I love the fact that he's not saying, hey, I've been training. Well, I'm going to take the fight in. I'm going to stay sharp. Canelo, and see you in September. Maybe or maybe not. Because I love the fact that he says, I was just reading recently what I read where he says, I'm not waiting for Canelo. You know, we'll see about another fight.
Yeah.
We'll see about a fight in September. Now, people's always full of crap.
Well,
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe not. You know what? And I think, you know how you punish? Here's what Dave Wolf, my manager Dave Wolf used to say when everybody was calling me out. Everybody and anybody, from Camacho to Roger Mayweather to everybody, to Billy Costello, all those guys. You know what he used to say? You know how you hurt this guy, Ray? You don't hurt him by getting in the ring and giving him a beat. You hurt him by not giving him the payday. You hurt him more
absolutely.
that way. And I'm telling you, for me, they think that Canelo's the A-side. Canelo might have been a bigger name at the time, but he ain't now. And as a matter of fact, this hurt, he went from that so-called A, then he went to B minus, C plus. Because he hurt boxing, he hurt himself. This guy now calls the shots. So what I'm saying is, you keep moving forward. And I don't know if I'm worried about Canelo. To me, the best way he hurts Canelo now is don't give him the payday, because Canelo really can use that payday. And everyone knows that. Most people think that Triple G won the fight. Let them know that I won the fight. I didn't do anything to hurt myself or to damage my reputation or damage the game. I trained hard as I could, getting ready for his fight. This guy didn't flunk one test. He flunked twice. Who's to say he wasn't on it before? Which I believe he was. So I'm moving forward. Let him catch up. I think that's the smartest thing, because Canelo, look, I mean, Triple G is he's the true world champion now. He's a world class guy, and I think, look, whoever he fights now, Martirosyan or whoever he fights in September, he's the marquee guy. So.
Ray, I couldn't agree with you more, and I told this to Tom, and I've said this to him on air on various shows. Gennady Golovkin has become sidetracked the last 2 years because they've gotten into the business of Canelo Alvarez and on his time frame. Yeah. I believe it is time to get back on the Gennady Golovkin schedule, where he's fighting often. There are good mandatories that are there. Jermall Charlo's a very explosive young fighter. Derevyanchenko's a solid young contender. Listen, Demetrius Andre's a difficult fighter. You have Ryuta Murata, who is a champion out of Japan. That fight does very big business in Tokyo. If the Canelo rematch does not come off in September, I think Gennady and Tom have a decision to make, that we have to stop chasing this guy. Now, Ray, I don't know if you realize this or not, but I've been told, and I found this to be maddening, Canelo actually tried to tell the Golovkin side, since I'm not fighting in May, we don't want Golovkin fighting in May either. And they were trying to hold up Golovkin getting this fight until the beer company, Tecate, said, wait a minute, that Cinco de Mayo is big. We need that weekend. And they told Canelo, you better back off here. Well, so I found that to be very interesting, right?
I do too, Steve. And you know what, Steve? Here's what I find interesting. Canelo, when he was coming up, and I told you, I met him in the gym, sweet guy, liked him. Everyone root for him. He's Canelo, sweet guy, and everything. He's becoming arrogant. He's becoming arrogant and unlikable. He's starting to demand things.
Well,
people are starting, the
Ray,
well, yes.
Ray, let me tell you something. This is what happens when the tail wags the dog.
That's right.
And when you start thinking you are bigger than the sport,
yes,
and then you are above the law, I find it ridiculous that Nevada did not tell Canelo during the 6-month suspension, which I thought was a little bit light,
You and
Okay,
me both. You
but
and me
they should have
both.
made a mandate. He has to do drug testing all the way through September, all the way through, random, unannounced. Because Ray, how do we know he's not doing the stuff now?
Oh, I agree.
How?
I mean, that's right. And Steve, it's a very good indication that he probably did it last time. You know what? I had Eddie O'Neill on last week. Ed O'Neill, and Ed O'Neill's a great fight fan. And he said the one thing he noticed about the first fight, he said Canelo didn't look like a typical Mexican. And what he meant by that is he was shredded. Canelo, he's in shape. You see, he's cut, but he was shredded, like like nobody's business last fight. So obviously, I think it's a very good indication he was doing it last time. So I don't know, Steve.
Right.
It's just
And
he's becoming a bit arrogant and a bit of a
people have-
jerk off. Bit of a jerk off.
And people have to understand, when you fight twice a year and you have these large windows when you're not being tested, you can cycle in, you can cycle out, and there's a common misperception about PEDs. They don't have to be in your system for you to get the benefit. So once it flushes out of your system, you're still getting all the benefits of speed, strength, and stamina. That's what people do not understand. So the cycling period is vital. And I don't know if you know this, Ray, but the testing for this fight that was scheduled for May 5th took place a month before the last fight. So basically, you could say it may have been tainted meat. You could also say Canelo got caught with his pants down cycling off too late, not realizing the testing was going to start that early.
Very good point. Very good point. And that's probably more like it, Steve. That's probably more like it. Look, the fact that it's tainted meat, and we know that's a real thing in Mexico with the tainted meat, we know that. But the fact that it's trainer and manager by trade are butchers, I find that a little bit of I find...
So in other words, Ray,
The
a
butchers
pun
by
alert
trade.
here. You're saying they made a mistake?
Yeah,
Anyway.
bada boom, rim shot, mistake, yes. But come on, man. I just have a hard time with that one. It's just, come on, you got to know. Look, like I said, he was a good guy.
And Ray, going
please.
back to Golovkin real fast.
Yes.
And I told this to Abel Sanchez. I've said this to Tom. Because Golovkin now is inactive or takes longer breaks in between fights at this age, 35, 36, I think it takes him longer to get that engine revving. And that's why you're seeing him get off the slow starts. This game is so much about rhythm and timing and being in sync. I don't have to tell you, Ray, but when you throw a fighter off that likes to fight a lot,
Right.
okay, which is different than being in a gym, when you go from 3-4 fights a year to now becoming a fighter that fights once every 6 months, it's different. And if you've noticed about Golovkin, he takes a couple of rounds to get started now. That wasn't always the case.
No, it wasn't. You're absolutely right. And Steve, let me talking about that. Going back to the first fight where I was in Europe, and I'm actually going to be in Europe again during this time for the same fight. My guys where I was at, they were supposed to get it pay-per-view because I was in Scotland at the time, and they didn't get the fight. So I had to wait till I got back to see the replay. So I'm going to be in England, and this time I'll be in Ireland during the fight, or the September fight. So I don't know if I'll even get the chance to see it. But during the last fight, one thing I noticed, and I tell people, I had to wait to see the replay, but I had heard a few things, read some things. When I watched it, the first thing that hit me, and I don't know, maybe because I'm an ex-fighter, and I talked to some other fighters, they said, yeah, Ray, I thought the same thing. And I didn't hear the writer say it or anything. The first thing that I noticed is he looks stale. He looks stale. And I tell people, when you're overtrained, undertrained, it's a lot of the same symptoms. The difference is, you're lethargic, you're a little bit slow, sluggish. The difference is, when you're overtrained, you can't change speeds. You got gas in the tank, you can't change speeds. When you're undertrained, you got no gas and you're struggling to even, to keep moving along. That's the difference. You have same symptoms. You look lethargic, you look slow. But one is you got very little gas in the tank. The other is you got gas in the tank, but it's one speed. You can't change speeds. And Golovkin, being a gym rat, as you know, he knows, even when he's not fighting, he's up in Big Bear training, helping the other guys. And I think Abel training, he's a good enough trainer, and he's experienced enough trainer to know, hey, take off. Gennady, we don't need you in the gym now.
Yeah.
Murphy Griffith told me,
Well,
you used to say,
Ray,
don't go into the gym. Don't go into the gym. Week before, just shadow box easy. I want you to come into the camp with the little gas. I don't want nothing because we peak at the right time.
And Ray, that's why Gennady and I think Abel were so insistent. I mean, a lot of people say, why doesn't he just fight a better guy or a different guy in June? No, because they're already 5, 6, 7 weeks into a training camp for May 5th.
That's right.
I mean, you know, exactly what you said was the dynamic that most laymen do not understand. No one's supposed to be in the gym for 12, 14 weeks at a time. You absolutely get stale. I remember talking to the late, great Emmanuel Stewart, who once said, Steve, I don't even know why camps nowadays are 8 weeks. I thought they should be no longer than 6.
That's just it, 6 weeks.
You know?
Steve, when I went 15 rounds, 5.5, 6 weeks. See, that was it. Murphy Griffin used to say, man, we ain't getting ready for no marathon. We're getting ready for a fight. When these guys now say 8, 10, 12 weeks.
Ray,
for what?
Ray, if you need 8 to 10 weeks, you know what that means? That means you didn't stay in shape in between fights. That means you weren't a pro.
At all. Griffin used to say, and I was a professional. He said, Ray, you're a pro. He said, you're supposed to know better. He said, don't worry about that. Just, after a couple, take the weekend off, take a week off. Then he said, maybe do a walk, a mile or two, easy. Walk a mile, run a mile, shadow box, and that's it. Shadow box a couple rounds, no more. Then he said, maybe the next day, do a couple rounds on the rope, shadow box, nothing else. So you take it out. Walk a mile, run a mile, and that's it. Just do 2 miles. Walk a mile and run a mile. In other words, you put a little gas that day, but so when you get in the camp, they build you up so they know how to peak at the right time. Nowadays, these guys, Gennady, and they didn't come out and say that, but I think, and I've read little places, or even he said, or Abel said he thought maybe he wasn't being in the gym too long, maybe he came back to the gym too soon. It was obvious because he couldn't change speeds in the later rounds, and everybody thought he was fading and Canelo was coming on, but no, he just couldn't pick it up when he needed to, and that's why he still beat him, but he just didn't pick it up.
Ray, I remember one time Freddie Roach told me about when he was a prospect. I think it was in 1979 or 1980. I think they used to run shows at a small venue in Vegas called the Silver Slipper. They did like a monthly club show.
Yeah, I fought there twice.
And Freddie Roach said the best, most productive, and easiest year as a professional boxer he ever had was in 1980. He fought 11 times. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, Steve, halfway through the year, I really didn't have to train anymore because I could fight. I didn't have to spar. I didn't have to cut weight. But I was on that consistent schedule every 4 to 6 weeks. I was ready to fight. I don't think people understand this.
Well, Freddie,
I think fighters are worse off fighting less because they spar 150 rounds in camp. And I'm like, you're actually just giving yourself an unpaid concussion. I'd rather fight more and spar less.
Absolutely. You're leaving it in the gym. The old saying, don't leave it in the gym. 1990, Freddie fought 11 times. I fought 12. I averaged a fight a month.
True.
I averaged a fight a month. In my first full year as a pro. My first full year as a pro. And I remember Freddie. Don't get me wrong. And I told the story all the time when I was getting ready to fight for the world title. We went to training camp. We were in Tucson. We went to Las Vegas a little early before I fought Art Frias. And my trainer, Murphy Griffin, was very good friends with Eddie Futch. And we didn't bring all the guys. We brought a couple guys. We had 4 guys in training camp, but I brought 2. But Griff said, okay, man. He said, Eddie, he said, you got anybody my kid could spar with? He said, well, I don't got no language. He said, but I got this little boy, because I got this boy over here, and he'll give you all the work you want. Freddie Roach. Freddie slapped the heck out of me for the first two weeks. And then the last 4 or 5 days, I was catching up to him, and that's when we knew I was ready. Freddie got me ready as much as anybody for the world title fight against Art Frias. And I'll always love Freddie and thank him for that. But that's right. I was fighting so often, you didn't have to spar as much. That's the truth, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie said, Steve, I never had to lose 25, 30 pounds. I never had to really spar second half of the year. So that's the thing that's distressing. I really believe Tom Loeffler, Gennady, and Abel need to make a decision. We need to run our business. I mean, think about it, right? They're one of the top 3 or 4 fighters in the sport from a business perspective. I get it. They're not the A side versus Canelo. But I think they have to take the bull by the horns and start acting like the A sides that they are and start telling these guys, line them up and let's knock them down. That's simple.
There you go. Hey, Steve, I appreciate your time. And I'm not going to keep you much longer, but I want you to stay on for this because one of the things I do on my show, I do my top 5 list. I do a top 5. Sometimes it's top 10.
Yes, yes.
The first time last week I did top 5 R&B bands and top R&B singers. So we did that, and then the other day I did top 5 action stars, right? So I said today that since in consideration, since you're on my and I mean it sincerely, not because you're on, only because you're on. I say my top 5 writers right now by far. You are 1 and 2. You were 1 and 2. 1 or 2.
Wow.
No, and I mean
Wow.
that.
Ray.
No, and I mean that. I'm not. And I tell you,
I'm blushing over here.
I tell
loves you, Steve.
I tell Steve that too. I tell Steve. Him and Dan Raphael are the two best for me right now.
Yeah.
You and Dan Raphael are the two best. So I some days you're 1, some days he's 1. I don't know. It depends it depends on what I'm reading. If I read something you like, you're number 1.
Wow.
But anyhow, I mean that sincerely. So now, because you're on top of it, you're in the gyms. When I mean this, I tell you go to Freddie Roach's gym. You go to Pete Berg's gym out Wild Card West. You go to the other gyms. You go down to the South Central. You go down to Pacoima. You go to the Latino gyms. You go where other guys don't. They, and that's what a real boxing writer, the old ones in New York used to do. Come to the gyms. And see
I mean,
yeah.
Ray, let me just tell you something. If you want, listen, you don't have to be General George Patton or Arnold Schwarzkopf to be a good war correspondent.
That's right.
You don't have to be Gordon Gekko to cover business.
That's it.
But the way you do it is you got to be on the scene. You can't just do this from your telephone, from behind your desk, on a conference call. You've got to be out there. And then more importantly, Ray, you've got to talk to people that are in the battle. You got to talk to the trainers, the fighters. And I tell every young boxing writer, you don't have to get in there and spar and get hit. I get that. But get a trainer to work out with you.
Right.
Learn something. Learn how to throw a jab. Learn how to throw a right cross. Learn how to keep your hands up. Work a heavy bag. It'll make you a more knowledgeable professional journalist about the sport you cover.
Well,
It's not that hard.
Steve, you just said it. And I've seen you. I know you go down to Freddie's gym, Wild Card, and you train. And then you just said it. You want to go burn for 3 minutes and see how when your lungs are ready to explode. Now you have an understanding what a fighter goes through. So, it's funny you said it because Dave Mamet, the great writer, director Dave Mamet, is a friend of mine. And Dave always said, Dave studied acting. I said, Dave, you studied acting? You're going to be an actor? He said, no. I studied acting because when I write, I want to know what actors think, how they think, what they're thinking. So when I write for actors. I want them, but I want to think like an actor when I'm writing. So it's basically what you're saying. You want to think like a fighter. You want to be in the ring. But, and it's funny. Now, Steve, before I get to the top 5 list, is there any scoop that you give me? It'll be amongst us girls right here. Anything new? Anything you heard in the gym lately? Anything that hasn't come out yet, that may come out?
Let me see. What is the new scoop? Well, a couple of things here. The Top Rank schedule is going to get very busy in the next month or two.
Okay.
May 26th, they're going to go to Fresno with the Jerwin Alcaraz against Jonas Sultan, which is the first all-Filipino championship fight in 95 years. They've actually don't like to fight each other at the world-class level. That'll be on ESPN+. I'm also hearing that a young champion by the name of it's Jose Ramirez. He's going to fight Regis Prograis.
Regis Prograis.
And that's going to be, I think, in July. That's a very good fight, by the way. And Peter Berg's management company actually has Prograis.
It's funny you said that. Let me tell you this quick story. Sam, who runs, I call him Sam I Am. Sam, who runs...
Sammy K. Love Sam.
Sammy K, right. But Sam I Am. So Sam calls me a couple months ago. He called me. He said, Ray, Sam I Am, what's up? He said, Ray, I'm riding in the car. I just picked up this young fighter from the airport, and we're gonna sign him. Pete Berg, Churchill Management's gonna sign him. He says, and I said, well, who's your favorite fighters? He said, first name we said was Ray Boom Boom Mancini. I said, are you kidding me? So he said, how do you know? And he goes, I used to watch tapes of him. So he said, wait a minute, and he called me. He put me on the phone. I was so flattered and so honored. I watched that kid fight. That's the real deal. And I told Sam, after I saw him fight, and after the Ramirez fight, title defense last time, when he fought the African, I said, this kid will beat Ramirez if he stays the way he fought. Like, if he fights the way he did the first, last time I saw him. Aggressive, giving him angles, because he gives you angles. One thing about Prograis, he's not straight, he's not north and south. He goes north, west, east, he's all over the joint. He gives angles. I said he'll beat Ramirez. Ramirez is a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, good fighter.
Yeah.
The type of guy you want to root for because he's he's so he's proficient. He's involved with the community. He's very involved, and you want to root for a guy like that. You want to see him do well. I said, but a guy like Prograis will give him problems, all kind of headaches. And Prograis can punch the way he punches because he gives you angles. He comes from, and he's not straight up and down. He reminds me, I'm not going to say Manny Pacquiao, but I'm saying in the sense he does Manny Pacquiao type things where he punches and he leans to the side. He punches off at angles. Normally angles that usual southpaws don't have. So I think he'll beat Ramirez if he fights the way he could, like he did last time. Because Ramirez is a good fighter, solid fighter, but he's basic in many ways. So that's my view on that.
I don't disagree. And as for any real scoops, let me see, what am I even writing about this past week? There's so much that's going on. Oh, by the way, Ray, set your DVR. There's a lot of boxing this weekend. There's ESPN,
Yes.
there's HBO, and there's Fox, all on one day this Saturday.
Well, Top Rank.
Keep that in mind.
That's the Top Rank show in Philly, right? Russell Peltz is going to be promoting. Okay, I've been reading about that. Yeah. And what else is on ESPN? What's the other one? You said HBO.
The HBO is going to be Danny Jacobs taking on a Polish fighter, Saluke, who's not a bad fighter. I think it's a pretty good action fight. I think Danny's a little bit too athletic, a little bit too big. And then Fox is just some PBC flotsam and jetsam that, Ray, if it wasn't my job, I probably wouldn't watch.
I understand. Hey,
So-
Steve, real fast. You talk about Golovkin, and the guys are talking about possible fights. You know what the big fight with him is? The one you just said, the kid from Japan, Murata. That kid can fight. He's got a lot of heart. That's an action-packed fight. But if I'm Gennady, I go to Japan. Don't pay Gennady a ton of money to come over there to fight him for the title.
Yeah, my understanding is that they want to have that fight sometime in December or January. I've spoken to Bob Arum about that, who's the co-promoter with Taken Promotions, led by Mr. Honda. They believe that if they put that at the Tokyo Dome, which was the home of Tyson Douglas back in 1990, they believe that they are going to sell out every seat with a capacity of 60,000 people. So this is what I think that they should be doing. They're going to fight May 5th. They're going to fight in September against somebody, whether it's Canelo or not. Then you go to December and you fight, and you become Godzilla in Tokyo.
That's right.
Now we're back to schedule, Ray. Now we're back.
No. I think that's the best fight because that Murata, he's an action-packed guy, got a ton of heart, and it'd be a great fight for Gennady. I think Gennady beats him because he's a little too strong, but it's an action-packed fight, and that's what everybody wants to see. So, anyhow.
Like I said, more Golovkin is good.
That's right. That's for sure. Okay, Steve. Here's my top 5 boxing writers of all time. Now, I'm not even sure.
Okay.
Okay. And I was looking, I know some of them guys wrote books about boxing, but they weren't boxing writers. I was trying to go with guys, boxing writers. Then I got the guys I know that were at ringside covering it. So I may be wrong on a couple of these, but let me know. Really, this is in no particular order. And this, again, present company excluded only because you're on the phone. So everybody but you, and you, everybody but you and Dan Raphael. Let's put it that way.
But he still loves you, Steve.
Here's my 5. Bert Sugar, of course. Bert, in no particular order. Bert was great. Pat Putman for Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated.
I love Pat Putman.
Great writer.
Very good, right. Do you remember for the New York Daily News, Dick Wolf?
Oh yeah, Dick Wolf. He was a hammer. He was a tough guy.
Dick Wolf, man. He didn't write anything, but I'll tell you what, Dick Wolf's my guy. I always tell people, Dick Wolf, the second fight would come up when I fought Bramble. He said, I didn't know blood scored points. He said, Ray Mancini bled a lot, but he threw a lot of punches too. He said, and he outpunched. He said he outbled and outpunched Bramble. He said, if that's what scores points, Ray Mancini won that title. So I appreciate it. But he was always good. He was a great writer. He was a good writer. Bill Gallo, another boxing writer.
Yes.
But he was great, and he was a great boxing cartoonist, which we know. The great Damon Runyon. Damon Runyon used to cover a lot of fights. Damon Runyon.
Damon Runyon. Okay, you're going very old school there.
Damon Runyon, Bert Sugar, Pat Putman, Dick Wolf. Just on the outside, but maybe right with Dick Wolf is Bill Gallo. But right on the outside, Thomas Hauser. Now, Thomas Hauser, great boxing books. But he's also come up as a reporter for boxing, too. And also Joyce Carol Oates. She wrote books, but she covered boxing.
But you don't know that.
And W.C. Hines. They were the peripheral. They just missed the cut. So David Runyon, Bert Sugar, Pat Putman, Dick Wolf, and Bill Gello. Those are
Now, wait a minute. There is one omission that
that?
I would put in there to that very illustrious group. Maybe you didn't like him, but he certainly was a prolific writer, was highly influential throughout the 80s and 90s out of New York.
Go ahead.
Michael Katz.
Michael Katz. I'm sorry. Mike Katz, I like Michael. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I was trying to think. Mike Katz, you're absolutely right. And he wrote for the New York, he wrote the New York Times. He was a box writer for New York Times.
Yeah, New York Times and then New York Daily News, and then he was one of the first big writers, Ray, because he worked on our website at Max Boxing.
No. And Michael Katz, I like Michael.
That actually went to the internet.
Well,
And he was a sharp-tongued guy, man.
yeah.
He could cut people up like a knife.
And I'm still bleeding from a few of those. I'm still bleeding. Oh, I didn't scar over totally. Trust me, I didn't scar. And I'll tell you for another one. I forgot another one. Later on was Wally Matthews. Wally Matthews is a very good boxing writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those guys.
Right, and
all those guys from New York. All those guys come from New York, Philadelphia.
Yeah, and another guy that I really liked, and it was a mentor of mine, is a good friend of mine now, is Larry Merchant. Larry Merchant was a very good writer throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Absolutely. I'm talking about, I know I'm missed a couple guys. Larry Merchant was a terrific writer. I'm sorry, Larry, if you're listening, I apologize. I didn't, I was thinking you more of a broadcaster, but you were a writer long before you're a broadcaster, and a great writer at that. And look, and let's not forget the L.A. guys. And I'm trying to think of their name because my guy wrote about me, but he's no longer.
Oh, no, well, hold on. We had some like John Bay Rudy, who was certainly someone that I read growing up.
I know John.
Alan Malamud was a very good boxing guy. Doug Krikorian loved the fight. Doug Krikorian is a good friend of mine.
But
we've had some good ones. We've had some good ones out here too, Ray.
No, the old timer. Steve Springer is very good, but the old timer.
Yeah.
The old timer, and I mean, in a sense, he wrote for the L.A. Times forever, and I can't think of his first name. Oh my God, it's terrible. And he wrote very good boxing writer, and he wrote some nice stories about me through the years.
Oh, and Ray, you know what? A personal favorite of mine, and of course we got to give a shout out to Steve Farhood.
Oh yeah,
did great work as the editor of Ring and KO for years.
Yes, Steve,
but a writer that I loved during that era of Ring and KO was Jeff Ryan. Well, the big Jeff Ryan fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff was a good writer, very good writer. You're right. See, that's what I'm saying. I missed a lot of people. I was thinking more of the old term, but you're right. You're absolutely right. A lot of contemporaries are were wonderful writers. Lance Pugmire. Lance Pugmire is another good one.
Yeah, does a good job.
Yeah.
And also the writer that just recently passed away for Sports Illustrated, William Nack. Loved boxing and horse racing.
Bill Nack.
So, and God rest his soul, he was great, William Nack.
He actually, he did interview me years ago. He did interview me. Yeah, he was terrific. You're absolutely right. Hey, Steve, real fast, again, what about the NFL draft? What do you think about it? I said Brownies get the first of 4. I think for number 1, they should go with Barkley. Pick the best, just get the best athlete.
Oh, well, okay.
And I don't,
here's the thing.
Because I don't think any.
This is a very deep running back draft. I don't know. You could get a good running back in the 3rd and 4th round. But let me just say this to all the good people of Ohio and you poor, long-suffering Browns fans. If the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield at number 1, what you fans should do is pack all the Browns' belongings in a U-Haul, pack up their offices, get all their equipment, put it in an 18-wheel pickup truck, and demand they move the hell out of Cleveland.
Well, they did
that is the worst pick.
Didn't they do that before? They did that before. They moved to Baltimore. Didn't they do that before?
Yeah, but at this time, you poor people have suffered enough.
No, it's painful.
Enough is enough.
But Steve, here's my thoughts real fast because I don't want to keep you in the. That first, I think with Barkley, go with the best. And you're right, you can get some good backs later on. And I like the kid from Georgia, not Chubb, the other one, because
Tony Michelle.
Tony
Michelle.
To me, that's who I'd pick. He runs north and south, and he can run. But let me tell you something. You go Barkley because I think you need that back who can give you. And if you pass on, I don't think there's any quarterback that's going to start right away. I don't think there's a quarterback that's a must must pick right now. I think Sam Darnold. I like him. He's got a major league arm, but mentally he's got to get a couple more. He's got to get the mindset of a pro quarterback. Josh Rosen was never impressed. No. Maybe this kid Allen. I never saw this Josh Allen, so I don't know enough about him. But I think there's.
You know what Josh Allen is? Josh Allen is Nuke Nalouche. $1 million arm, 10-cent brain.
I know what you're saying.
Just put it like that.
Yes. But I think you go Barkley number 1, and number 4. I think you go the Chubb, not Nick Chubb, the defensive end, the Chubb.
Yeah, from North Carolina State. Let me just keep this in mind. If you're the Cleveland Browns and you literally have not had a great quarterback since Bernie Kosar, this is a quarterback-centric league.
Yes.
If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. Now, I happen to like Josh Rosen. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback. I think he's got more pure arm talent than anybody. But I also like Darnold because Darnold can extend plays.
He can extend plays.
Now, with that Browns offensive line, you better have a quarterback with some mobility.
And I'll tell you what.
I just think Baker Mayfield is too small, and I don't think he has a strong enough arm, and I think he played in a very bad defensive league. I would not take him with the number 1 pick. I wouldn't.
Well, that's valid. What you're saying is very valid. I like Darnold too, because I think he's got the body, prototype body. He's a big, husky kid. Rosen's a thin guy. To me, they break him in half. I really do think he gets hurt too early. He's going to have to build into, play, get used to it. I like Darnold because I think he's got a prototype body. He's a big, husky kid. But look, again, I wouldn't pick any quarterback the first pick. Because in other words, you forget the Brownies got Tyrod Taylor from Buffalo. He ain't the most, but he's a guy who could play. And he also got that Drew Hansen from the Cardinals as a backup. Let me just say this.
Yeah, but Ray,
I get you, Steve.
Tyrod Taylor is serviceable. He ain't taking you to a Super Bowl. And when you have the number 1 and number 4 pick, okay, you better get a quarterback. You better get that position
Steve,
right.
I get it, but I think
didn't they pass up on Carson Wentz?
I think you get a solid, quality quarterback later in the draft. Maybe the kid from Missouri State or whatever. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think Nick Foles proved it. Nick Foles was a good pro. He's a good, solid quarterback. Nothing. He doesn't do anything exceptional. Does everything well. But he knows how to manage the game. Manage it. And if you can get somebody who can manage the game, don't turn the ball over, he can take you to the Super Bowl. And I think the Brownies.
But Ray, that's a bit of an outlier, though. Outside of Trent Dilfer, most of your quarterbacks are either really, really elite or they've been drafted in the first round. Like Tom Brady as a 6th-rounder,
right.
That is very unique. I'm just telling you, if you're Hugh Jackson and you're an offensive coach and you've built your reputation on being a quarterback guru, okay, you're going to put your job on the line with a guy that's 5'11"? I don't see it. I'm just telling you, you can get an equivalent or something close to Saquon Barkley later on in the draft.
That's
but if you get a franchise quarterback, you change your whole outlook. I don't think you can pass up a Darnold or a Josh Rosen or that caliber or that potential at quarterback in this particular instance. They are 1-31, aren't they? The last 32 games.
But you know what?
My God,
I know. And Hugh Jackson can coach. He proved that when he was in Cincinnati. For whatever reason, last couple of years, I mean, it's been pitiful. But he can coach. I like Hugh Jackson, but he's got one shot. He's got one more year to prove it that he can take a team. But I think they win 7 games this year. I really do. I really believe with you.
7.
I think 7 games to go from 0 to 7. That's right, 0 to 7.
You know what? If they win 7 games, they should build a statue of Hugh Jackson next to the one next to Paul Brown. That'd be amazing.
That's funny. Yeah, well, we'll see. But I think so. But I'm looking forward to it. I said the 3 things that are the most boringest, overrated sports events. 1, NFL draft. 2, the NBA draft. 3, weigh-ins before a big fight. Guys dropping trow is not exciting to me. Not exciting to me.
Speak for yourself, Ray.
Yes. Guys dropping trow doesn't do anything for me. But Steve, you've been so kind, man. You've been so kind to stay on. I'm gonna let you go, my brother. And
absolutely, Ray. Call me. Let's do this often.
I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Steve.
All right.
appreciate it.
So I am putting this in pen right now. Cleveland Browns, led by Duke Johnson from the U, my person, and David Njoku. 7 wins. Okay, you're on the record,
7
Boom
wins.
Boom.
I'm
7
told,
wins,
7
man.
wins. You got it. Take care, my brother. Take care.
Okay, thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Take care. The K9. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was the K9 Steve Kim. We're running a little bit over, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Thank you for your time, your consideration. I hope you enjoyed another round of the Boom Boom Room. Join us again next Tuesday at the same time. Vike, what do you want to say, bro?
I was just gonna say, man, I was talking earlier, I'm heading over to my buddy Pete's house. He's making sauce tonight. And he says that his sauce will beat your sauce anytime. So you have been sauce challenged, my friend.
I don't make sauce.
You don't cook?
But
You
he
don't cook?
ain't gonna make my wife's sauce. He ain't gonna beat that.
All right, well, bring it, man. Bring it, baby. We're gonna do a taste test.
I'll tell you what. I'll jump the wine. His wine ain't gonna beat my wine. That's it. So, for ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching another round of the Boom Boom Room. You've been very kind. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, please tell your friends. If you didn't, keep it to yourself. But next week, Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So take care of each other, love each other. Good night. God bless.